You're celebrating the 20th anniversary of On the Way Down.
That was my very first single. Obviously, that was the song that kickstarted my whole career. So I wanted to have a nice birthday present for it. Music nowadays has kind of transformed into cross-genre. Anybody can do something with anybody now.
You're a father now. You're a family man.
Every time I try to get her to say dad, she just says mama. Can you say dad? Mama. Mama, little daddy. Now pick up my food. Now change my diaper, you little daddy.
On the way down, I saw you. You saved me from myself. And I won't forget the way you loved me. And on the way down, I almost fell right through.
I like the MTV sweater though.
Dude, yeah, we'll start there. That's a through line for us. I hosted the reboot of TRL, so I never had the luxury of having you on TRL. Yeah, I was one of the hosts.
Was it like the yellow one? Like was it actually in Times Square? Like that?
Same studio.
They tried to redo it, but it wasn't.
Yeah,
same studio,
so
but
reclaimed.
It was like a yellow color, right?
Yeah, it was yellow everything. A lot of the same people that you probably knew when you were popping up on the show a lot. Melissa was still the EP, and a lot of those guys. Yeah. But it was the same studio. They actually had to like reclaim it from I think it was like Abercrombie. They had to kick out and then bust on the wall again, and yeah.
Yeah, it was like a Aeropostale or something.
Yeah, that's what it was. Thank you. Yeah, something along those lines. Yeah. God, these wires. Yeah, dude.
I remember I would always cruise by it and be like,
it's not the same.
Yeah, you'd always walk by that window and you tell everybody, that never like was in
Something
New York or had to go to TRL. Like, that's the window. That's the window.
That's
the one. Shit.
Yeah. No, dude. The only thing that was different, so we had the same exact layout, but because they had added the billboards, like the big screens on that corner that used to be where the stage was, they moved the stage to the other side.
Right. Okay.
So that was the only difference. But it was still a giant studio. Yeah, man. So we'll start there. Ryan Cabrera, Dr. Cabrera, as he's put in the
shit.
in the title.
I don't know. What are we on right now? It's not Zoom, is it?
It's Riverside. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even put that in. I don't even know why it's there, but
you didn't secretly earn your MD somewhere?
Apparently my Riverside is, I'm a doctor of some things.
I love that. Dude, this is exciting because not just the MTV through line. I feel like you and I have been in the same room so many times, but we've never actually got the chance to meet. I'm in Chicago. We have a mutual friend, Billy Deck. And I'm pretty sure I've been at the Underground several times when you were DJing and whatnot back in the day.
Yeah.
So a lot of through lines there.
Good old times. The old I could still stay out till 4 a.m. days.
Oof. Yeah, I'm not there anymore. But now,
no, I'm glad those days are gone.
This episode is brought to you by Google Gemini. College students, do you know that you can turn the most complex topics into simplified ideas or hours of research into just minutes? You can even turn long reads into quick listens because what could be better than a podcast? Students get Google Gemini's Pro plan for free for an entire year. Sign up by October 6th to get free access to Gemini 2.5 Pro, unlimited image uploads, deep research, Notebook LM, 2 terabytes of storage, and so much more. Visit gemini.google/students to learn more and sign up. Terms apply.
We'll start there, man. You're a father now. You're a family man. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And
it's different. I did it a little bit later, which I actually appreciate because I got to get my 20s and 30s out of just living on the road and kind of being wild and living a very fun but full life. And then now kind of not in my later years, I'm still at least in my brain still young, but I'm kind of doing had my first kid at 40, maybe 40 or something like that, but which is a little bit later. But I feel like I have a lot more of myself to give at this age as a father, as a parent. And it works out the way it should. So I'm very happy right now. It's pretty wild to balance everything, having a kid, and then also now like getting to perform and having my daughter get to see what I get to do makes it 10 times more special because I'm not just on stage now. Obviously the fans are first and foremost the most important things in an artist's career to sustain a career. But then now like the show means more to me because I get to share it with my daughter and my wife and things that I've been doing for 20 years that they now get to be a part of.
And you're doing it, man. 20 years. Speaking of, you're celebrating the 20th anniversary of On the Way Down. two versions that we have now, and I'm biased to one. I'll let you decide which one you think that is. But one is a 20th anniversary edition with Joey Fatone and AJ from Backstreet Boys and Hanson and a couple other guys, friends from Hot Chelle Rae. You have Nick from Walk the Moon. Yeah, I mean this. I was not aware when it first got released, and I think it was like a week after it came out. I heard it. I was like, wait. Why is this on my new music playlist? And then I was like, wait, why is the intro different? Wait, who are all these voices?
This is a whole new version.
Yeah, 20 years into this thing, man.
It was a way to celebrate, the 20th birthday of the song. It was my very first single. Obviously, the song that kickstarted my whole career. Sure. So I wanted to have a nice birthday present for it and paid a little respect, but not like completely deter from the original version, but also make a more modern version. And I invited friends to come jump on it because everyone's heard me do it before. But what would kind of make it more special for me is hearing some other friends of mine who I'm a fan of, like what their interpretation of it would be. I was like, when we went in the studio, I'm like, do what you would do. Like, you don't have to sing it how I would sing it, like Taylor, do your Hanson thing, like Nick, do the Walk the Moon thing, AJ, do your Backstreet thing, or do the AJ thing, Joey, do your Joey thing. So it was kind of cool just to watch it all come together. And for me, I'm a fan of all those artists, sure. And Drake and Nash, and so for me, it was almost like a gift, even just to myself, to get to hear people that I'm a fan of sing on a song that I wrote. Was really cool, and hopefully something that we just get to continue doing. I think music nowadays has kind of transformed into cross genre, anybody can do something with anybody now, which 20 years ago when my first album came out, like that wasn't really a thing. It was
very much stay in your lane, and you had to answer to a lot of
here's your sound, stick with it. And I was always a very but I listened to jazz, I listened to rock, I listened to punk music, I listened to Dave Matthews, I listened to Paul Simon. I had such an eclectic kind of I just loved all music, that when I would turn in albums, they'd be like, dude, no, it's got to have a cohesive sound, everything's got to sound like one, which is why obviously you bring in a producer and they can kind of get that. But I wanted to do that a long time ago, but now basically what I'm getting is I appreciate the fact that the world has kind of grown, and anybody can do a collaboration with anybody and it be like, oh, that's kind of dope. I never thought that they would get along or can do something together. And that's art just in general. So we're at a cool time, I think, for that. So to put out something like this with all these different collaborations, like old school, new school, middle school, and myself, was really special.
On the way down, I saw you save me from myself. And I won't forget the way you love me. And on the way down, I almost fell right through, but I held on to you.
And then there's the rock version. So I don't know. I don't even know which one is your favorite.
So I was going to get to that next. So you also have the rock version of On the Way Down with Like Ghost, which also, I'm not saying one's better than the other. They're both incredible, right? So I think the thing that struck me about the 20th anniversary, not even just obviously the legendary status of how many people you're teaming up with on this thing, but just the immediate harmony flip in the beginning. You're like, wait, that's not the melody that I knew. And it's like, oh, this is going to be a different ride. And then, the Like Ghost version, you're like, you hear that drum drop and you're like, okay, this is going in a wildly different direction. But I think anyone that's a Cabrera fan or has seen you perform through the years knows that you definitely have a rock edge to you. The real ones know the origin stories, of Kane way back in the day and Rubik's Groove and whatever it may be.
My third album, the independent album, which I can't even find anywhere, is called The Moon Underwater. It was an independent record that I wrote whilst I was still signed with Atlantic Records, but then they were reluctant to put it out because of, they're like, dude, this is way more like edgy and rock and a different, this isn't pop.
They're like, you're not Shinedown. It was.
Yeah, right. I mean, they're pop songs, but just done in, like a little bit more of an indie production, and so they didn't want to put it out because they're like, dude, it's not believable. And I'm like, it's not believable, but why does it have to be believable? I wrote it.
Yeah.
So it is believable.
It's authentic
because I wrote it.
Yeah.
It is authentic to me. These are real stories that I wrote, and these are real sounds that I'm in the studio making. This isn't like a band gave me songs. Now I'm trying to be something that I'm not. Like, this is just what I'm feeling at that time in that moment. And they didn't want to put that out. They're like, this is a hit record for somebody else. I'm like, all right, that's the way you think. But so that record never really got, kind of the light of day, but it was a more rock heavy record. So for people who don't know, or like really are like, hey, we're hardcore, fans of yours, they know that album and they understand like, okay, you can kind of, dabble in different genres. So the Light Ghost collaboration was outside of the box, but kind of was it like, it's a little bit, it's their take on it. And I just got to, come in and be a part of it. So those guys, I mean, they crushed the version. I heard it and I was like, dude, even outside, like pulling myself outside of writing the song, I was like, I would listen to this.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't me. It wasn't me singing. I was like, dude, if this was on rock radio, I would actually dig this. So I immediately, we got in contact with them. I was like, dude, let's create a version together and put it out there and also celebrate, and see what happens with it.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure there's a whole nother genre who would be like, who's Ryan Cabrera? And, hear that and be like, oh, that's a new song, and be like, all right, cool. Yeah. And that's the beauty of music is you could hear something today for the first time, even if it's 20 years old, and be like, dude, I dig it. That's rad.
On the way down, I saw you and you saved me from myself. And I won't forget the way you loved me. And on the way down, I almost fell right through, but I held on to you.
I mean, we see it every day with TikTok, right? Something that catches a sound, and it just happened with, I think, Soundgarden songs going viral, and people are like, "What's the Soundgarden? Are they new?" And I'm like, "Oh man."
The amount of people that heard "Teenage Dirtbag" from Wheatus for the first time, are like,
right?
Dude, I love this. Who is this?
That's a guy singing. I'm just a teenager.
Yeah, they're confused. They're like, no, that was our childhood.
Yeah. And just quick shout out where it's due. Light Ghost, they're incredible. If you don't know, they have a single out right now, Better Now, which is so good. So I'll answer the question. I know you're waiting on the edge of your seat. I am the biggest NSYNC fan in the world. Joey Fatone's sister-in-law was my manager for years. So there's a through line there. But I'm a punk kid in my heart. So I go with the Light Ghost version. But like what you were just saying, man, it's so cool because it's not even a version. It really is just its own song, right? It has the same lyrics and same melody, but it's the perfect example of that. Lyrics are timeless. A story is timeless, right? And when people try to say, well, this is an old hit or whatever it may be, it's like, no, it was a hit, period, and it continues to be. And there's a reason that as it continues to reinvent itself, people will hear that and go, this is an awesome song. This is a banger. When this just came out, And
that's what you do. That's something that I think, not that there aren't songs now that come out that are timeless, because there are.
Yeah.
There's plenty. But and obviously being a little bit biased, but at the same time, being completely truthful and honest, that time period was pumping out, I think, a little bit more of a unique song, just a song in general.
There was more storytelling.
If you take a song, strip it down, take the story, do it just an acoustic guitar and a vocal, which is, how we were writing songs back then. It was just you're in the studio with a guitar vocal or a piano and vocal. And production didn't really matter. If you break it down to just the song, a lot of those songs, they're timeless for a reason. That was such a cool period to be a part of, the early 2000s, because all those songs are, they're their own, sound. Every song was sounding different, which was cool.
Hey, what's up, guys? Nick Major here with the Spout Podcast, and today's episode is brought to you by Google Gemini. So all of you college students out there, I'm looking at you because did you know that you can turn those complex topics that you are studying into simplified ideas, and all of those notes that you take all semester long, you can quickly turn those into practice quizzes to get you ready for the big test. And the hours of reading that you are currently doing can be turned into just several minutes worth of audio to listen to. And who doesn't love a good podcast just like the Spout Podcast that you're listening to now? You can do this all and so much more with Google Gemini. And the great news is that Google Gemini's Pro plan is free for 1 year for students. So sign up by October 6th to get free access to Gemini 2.5 Pro. You'll get unlimited image uploads, deep research, notebook, LM, 2 terabytes of storage, and more. Visit gemini.google/students to learn more and sign up. Terms do apply, but I assure you, Google Gemini will literally organize your life and make things so much easier. We're living in the future, everybody. Thanks to Google Gemini, we are living in the future. Let's get back to the Spout podcast now.
And speaking of guitar too, just being in the studio, you didn't have the synths, you didn't have all like the instant beat kits to play with and write with, the way you do now to the degree. But there's a story of how you almost picked up the guitar by accident. And it was kind of a happy accident that you took this route as far as, creativity and music went. Are you still looking for those happy accidents when you try something new right now?
I mean, not like I'm not seeking it because, right now my main focus, just in general is my daughter. Yeah. She's 21 months old. So that's number one, but there's still like, as a creative human, like I find happiness and joy in being creative. Yeah. So no matter what that is, whether that be painting or, coming up with something, just, every day, I try to do something creative. It could be cleaning the house, rearranging the house, just something to keep your creative brain like flowing. But with that being said, now it made me want to be like, okay, now I want to write songs, with the new fresh eyes of, what is life like through her eyes? Yeah. What does she think of her parents? What is she thinking of, the things that are going on? So that kind of it gets my brain kind of thinking. I haven't done anything on it yet, but I'm going to once I kind of decided like the first couple of years, I want to just be there. Sure. I want to bring her everywhere. I want to bring her to shows. She goes to my wife's shows. She goes to my shows, and we're a part of everything, every single day. And that's first and foremost. But now I'm like, okay, she's getting to that age where it's kind of getting fun and a little bit easier to take care of that. I can be like, okay, what if I do a song from her perspective? What if I, rewrite the lyrics to True? Because that was a song that I sang to her when she was in the womb. Like, what if I rewrite the lyrics and kind of make it about her? Because it kind of does parlay in a certain way. So that's kind of where my brain is going as far as like happy accidents being like, not that the baby was an accident, but like, okay, that made me go, oh my God, I wouldn't have thought of that if I didn't have her. So that stumbled upon like, there's a song like True that could be, this is a song about all my life I've waited, I didn't even know that I needed you, my daughter, like until I had you. And then that changed my whole life. Yeah. So that's kind of where my brain is going with stuff like that.
Yeah. And it's a full circle moment too, even if you may not be quote unquote experiencing the happy accidents of creativity, again, you're seeing it through Hendrix Rouge's eyes and you go, hey, this is her discovering something. And I know you want to keep certain parts of obviously her childhood private, but is there anything you're willing to share that she's experienced? You're like, oh, that's so cool to see her experience that for the first time.
Oh my God. Just and everything. Just like we lose a lot of that, naiveness of what it's like to just be hopeful and not know, there's such like a cool innocence of not knowing, that there is bad stuff out there yet,
God,
and
I
just kind
wish,
of
I wish I could go back there.
Yeah, I know. It's impossible now. We know too much. Yeah. But if you can kind of, look through things through those fresh eyes, there's art to be, a story to be told there within that. So that's kind of what I've been looking at. And for her right now, she's just starting to kind of talk and understand, every time I try to get her to say dad, she just says mama. And that he thinks it's hilarious.
You're like, and it's starting, it's beginning. Yes. Mama. Yeah.
Can you say dada? Mama.
I can say Alexa. Mama, I can't
daddy.
say Ryan. Yeah.
Mama, little daddy. Now pick up my food. And I'm like, okay, I will.
Daddy.
Yeah, that's what she calls me. Really, but
I swear she said that right before we started.
I'm pretty sure she takes her food and she goes, now pick it up, daddy. And I go, okay.
Yeah.
Now change my diaper, you little daddy. That's how I see it.
I love that so much. Painting, you talked about that a little bit earlier. That's something that a creative outlet for you for a couple of years now. But I was talking to this new up and comer Ed Sheeran a couple of weeks ago, and he said something along the lines of, music was his. Yeah, I think it's Sheeran or Sheeran or something like that.
Okay, yeah.
No, but it's really applicable. He said, music was my hobby for so long, and then when it becomes your career, you need a new hobby. You need something to turn to, and he turned to painting. There's a big story right now of how he just sold several of his paintings for charity. And I know you're very philanthropic with your work, and you've done so many things from live streams to just your work on the daily basis. Is that a world where you would ever enter, or have you, where your art could help benefit charities?
I haven't. Actually, I mean, I have. So I did a lot of live from Ryan's living room shows where basically just meet a bunch of artists, friends. We'd go in the living room, everyone perform. It was a super, super like just great vibe, creatives all getting together. People got to meet, perform together. You got to discover new artists. And along the way, I think I did a couple paintings for stuff. But I think I was reading about Ed's stuff too, is like where when you're making them, you're just painting because it's, a way to be creative and you love it. Never really with the intention to ever sell anything. And, I've had people contact me like, hey, would you sell that one? Would you sell that? And I never really, it just feels weird to me. Cause I'm like, no, I just paint because I love it. But for friends, like I'll paint them stuff and give it to them. But I love what he's doing, because why not? That's probably the only way I would ever sell something, is if it's just for something else.
Yeah.
But yeah, the only time I've ever done it was like through those live from Ryan's living room things. It would be cool at some point to like kind of team up with somebody, like my buddy Evan Ross. I know paints a lot of stuff, and he likes to do a lot of charity work as well. So at some point in life, when things kind of settle down, it would be cool to like do a show and just give away all the paintings and raise money for something.
I have a gallery space in Chicago. I'm just saying. So you let me know. This whole studio, it's ready to go for you. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I think you're familiar with Rocket Ranch and all that back at the Rocket Bar back in the day. So we're literally downstairs. Yeah. Like I'm literally connected to it.
That was my home.
Well, you got a new home 20 feet to the east. There you go.
Yeah, right on Hubbard Street.
Exactly. Hubbard and State. Those that know Chicago know what's up. That's cool.
Was it 22 West Hubbard? Do I even remember the
22?
address?
Yeah, we're 20 West. So we're right next door.
There it is.
Yeah. Dude, great memory.
I didn't go there much. Huh?
Next time you're in town, you got to come through.
Deal.
Do you remember
in December? We play Des Plaines.
Yeah. Des Plaines Theater. I saw that.
Yeah, we're playing Des Plaines Theater. I think December 19th or 20th or something.
Your people will talk to my people. We'll arrange maybe a little fan thing or something. Here. Yeah, that'd be cool.
And I don't come into town and not go to Sunda. So
there you go. We're down the street.
We'll be in the area.
We're down the street.
Yep.
You remember the first thing you ever painted?
Yes, I do. Well, technically, it wasn't a painting. I was in Hawaii. And me and, Lisa Marie Presley and the family used to go to her place in Hawaii all the time. We'd spend months there. And it was kind of like a detox from the road life, and in the Big Island in Hawaii was such a sacred and special place for us. But, there was literally nothing to do. And that's kind of the point, is zero to do.
Which sounds nice, but if you've never disconnected to that degree, you're kind of like, okay, now what? Right. Like, what do I do now?
After 2 months, you're like, okay, I might need to find a hobby. And this is, obviously a long, long time ago. But at that point, there was, maybe 45 minutes away, there was a Walmart, and there was like canvas there and some art stuff. And me and her kind of bonded over our love for this artist, Charles Bukowski, who was like a beat poet. And so I, as a gift kind of to her for always, letting me stay at their place, was I drew her like this portrait of Charles Bukowski. And, it was actually really good, and I was like, "What the?" I was like,
"When you surprise yourself with creativity, that's
right." I've never painted, drawn anything in my entire life other than like the S from Stussy back in the day, or like maybe Mario. And so I did it. I was like, "Dude," and she was like, "Oh my god, this is incredible." She's like, "You do this?" I'm like, "I've never done it before." She hung it up in the house, and it was, kind of like in a prime position of the house. So I was like, kind of proud.
Great real estate.
I was like, "Damn." I did that, and from that point on, I went back to Walmart, picked up a bunch of paints, and my next one was a Bob Dylan portrait of Bob Dylan, which I actually still have in the house today. I have original from maybe 15 years ago, and I was like, this is kind of dope. And then that turned into like doing like a Hendrix piece, and then getting bigger and bigger, and then now I have like a giant George Harrison piece and at that point, I was like, why would I buy art in my house if I could just paint it myself and kind of have what I want? And that kind of started the journey for me as far as painting, and just kind of getting lucky, stumbling upon it, just trying to do something nice for a friend, and turned into a really cool hobby.
Do you approach songwriting and creating music in the same capacity of how you approach what you're going to paint next, or are they two different brains for you?
No, I really just paint. I'll paint like Beatles, artists I like, Disney, anything Disney, simple stuff. I'm not like some grand artist, but I
From
kind
what
of
I've
try
seen,
to
it's
do a little.
incredible. So, I mean, it's more than I can do
appreciate
by
it.
far.
I try to do like a little spin to make it somewhat different.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Usually
awesome.
I see something and I can kind of reinterpret it in a way that is a little bit different, but still kind of cool. You can tell who it is.
Yeah. When people approach you, you talked about the fans being so integral to your career and just any artist career in general. And now that your daughter's seeing you meet fans and play, when they come up, is it more from a nostalgic standpoint, or are they a fan of the more recent stuff? I'm just curious. So where's the over under there?
Yeah, both. You kind of, to be fair, at this point, when you've done it for so long, obviously my first album came out in 2004, you're going to get anything you can imagine from people who could even think you're somebody else that you're not, or people who, and the best one, which is obviously the most annoying one, but is when you're just minding your own business and you have the people who come up and they're like, you're supposedly you're famous, you think you're famous or something. I'm like, huh? You're like, who are you? I'm like,
oh, that's the worst.
I don't think I'm anybody. I'm just me.
I'm
I was
me.
like, you came up to me. Why are you coming up to me asking me who I am?
Why do I suddenly have to prove something to you? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, they're like, or they'll come up and they'll be like, you're not Ryan. Are you Ryan Cabrera? And I was like, yeah, I am. Like, no, you're not. Like,
they challenge it.
I'm not. Like, okay. And they'll be like, what's your birthday? I'm like, July 18th, 1982. And they'll look at it like,
they'll Google it.
Yeah, that's not you. I'm like, okay, thank you. I didn't really ask.
Thank you for this encounter. Yeah.
I appreciate you telling me that I'm not me, but great.
Do you ever get the people who like my 14-year-old self is freaking out right now or something like that? I would imagine that would be a little annoying. It's like, okay, but you're not, so why are you coming up to me?
Yeah, exactly. You'll get, and then there's the people who are like, dude, I used to love you back in the day. Like, completely appreciate that.
Yeah.
Great. Then the people who are like, I love, your new stuff. I love, you get a little bit of everything.
Everything.
And it's like, at the end of the day, who cares? Just happy to I get to play music as a job.
To maintain a career in this for the longevity that you have. Yeah.
Yeah, I I get to do something every day that makes people happy. And I know that. And I know that the lives that are affected by, music and what music can do, to even change one person's life is a blessing through your music. So to be able to do it on a bigger scale and to change a lot of people's lives, even still today, totally, because there's people like, listen, you haven't had a hit on the radio in, 10 years. Who cares?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. I still get to play music, and that music, every concert we play just made that person, for that however long you play for, escape. It just made that person forget about all the shit that they have to deal with in their life. And that's the power of what, you get to do on stage. So you'll never take for granted anybody who comes up and is like, oh, I used to listen to you, or, I still listen to you, whichever which way it is.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah. It's a beautiful way to look
Life
at
is
it.
good.
It really is. And you do have such an industrious career over, 20 plus years, and it's nothing to
a lot of random shit.
Yeah.
Got a lot of random shit in my belt.
I'm glad you said that, Ryan. Because we'll start to wrap with this. I've been curious, when you've gone through as many highs and career moments, like obviously TRL, going platinum, things like that are the stuff that are the easy answer. Is there anything you've been reminded of lately? You're like, oh my God, I totally forgot about that moment or that memory.
I mean, that happens all the time. Where there's certain things that, the other day, like somebody mailed in for my birthday, which was in July, a fan who she sent in like all these old VHS tapes of like pretty much damn near everything I've ever been on. Like, It was unbelievable. Shout out to Mackenzie, who did that. I don't know how she did it, but it was like everything from Punk'd to every single TRL. I didn't even realize how many times I was on TRL. I thought I was on TRL like 3 times.
Yeah.
And it was
more than
20 episodes of TRL, like New Year's Eve, like all, the Z100, balls, like all that kind of random stuff. And then there was like the TRL awards with me and Will Ferrell. And I was like, oh my God, I completely forgot about that. Because then you forget about those things. And then you just get back into
the present.
Watching Elf every Christmas and be like, Wedding Crashers or whatever, anything like that, people like that were in, and be like, oh shit, I forgot that we, did a couple things together, and like we had a blast together. And I was up, for an award next to, it was Best New Artist was between me and Kanye West. That threw me for a loop.
Wow.
I was like,
well, for what it's worth, if someone's asking right now, I think you definitely won.
I did not, unfortunately. Should have. What a world where, like, I completely, obviously I forgot about that. I was like, where I was up for Best New Artist, and it was me versus Kanye West. Obviously, like, two completely different worlds, but damn, still kind of cool. I don't even care. Just cool. The fact that, I mean, not that I don't care who's what, but just to be on, the level of like, to think that way. I was like, damn, that was kind of wild.
Yeah. The Will Ferrell thing, obviously I'm not even close to your level, but I've just done so many interviews over the times that I'm like, you'll forget you talk to someone. So I can't even imagine what it's like for you. When I'll see someone popping off, I'm like, why do they look so familiar? And then a fan or someone will tweet me a video of an interview I did like 8 years ago. And you're like, oh my God, that's why I totally forgot. So I can only, I can empathize and relate, but obviously you're a little cooler than I am. Even though we do both have the MTV through line. I'm just saying. Yes,
we do.
Yeah, you were actually, that was one of the first things we did when they onboarded us for TRL. It was obviously like, I knew about the original series and I watched it when I got home from school and whatnot. But that was like something that was very important. It's like, let's keep this legacy, know which artist appeed the most, know who came through a lot. Right. And you were on that list, man, definitely. I think it was like 22 or 23.
Was it Backstreet or NSYNC?
This is going to age poorly. The most was Diddy. So we can go to like number 2 on that list. I want to say it was Eminem was maybe number 2 or
you know what? I just watched that Stan documentary last night.
Yeah.
And maybe I was like, damn, he was on there a lot for someone who was,
was like always hating on it, but it was like a whole thing.
Right. Not like anti, but I think that was part of the gimmick too. Like he knew his part, but obviously he's a brilliant human. So, dude, wow! I think that's what it was. Crazy.
Because we had Diddy back on in this is 2017 before any of the allegations and whatnot. And I remember him coming through. And
he introduced me once and completely butchered my name and butchered the name of my album. So, and he wanted me to wear like some T-shirt he was promoting. I was like, yeah, I'm good. You can't even say my name right or the album. So
Ryan Sombrero, what is it?
Yeah, Ryan Cabrera, and here's Take It All the Way. And I'm like, that's wrong, and that's wrong. But all right. Good job, guy.
We won't focus on him. We'll focus on the 20th anniversary edition of On the Way Down, which is out now. We'll focus on the Like Ghost Rock version of On the Way Down, which is out now. Yeah. If you're in the Chicagoland area, which I'm biased, obviously, but our show airs everywhere.
But if December, dude.
If you happen to be in the Chicago area, December, Displains Theater, and then maybe like a little fan thing at the studio. We'll figure something out.
All right, let me know, dude. I love it. Chicago's one of my favorite places to play. In all honesty, like people ask, I'm like, there's certain places. Chicago is such a good music town.
Yeah.
It's like people still love music in Chicago. They still come out and support, and they go crazy. They don't sit in their seats. They get up out of their seats. And, so I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, I don't know about the weather in December, but it is what it is.
It won't be that bad yet. It won't be that bad. We'll pray good thoughts. Ryan Cabrera, dude, this is so great to finally get the chance to talk. And obviously we didn't get to scratch the surface of everything I want to talk about with you, but this is not the last time we will chat. So, sir, I appreciate 100%. You. Congratulations. Anytime, on everything, the music, the daughter, the marriage, all of that. You're living the life that I aspire to soon. So congratulations, man. I can't wait to chat soon.
Get it in, brother.
Yeah.